What's going on, everyone? Dudette with Dudette Gaming, back with another Predecessor video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the offlane role and helping you decide whether or not it is the role for you. So let's get into it. The offlane role is often called the solo lane. It's called this because it is typically a 1v1 matchup between you and one opponent. It's also often a forgotten lane where the jungler, mid laner, or duo lane don't come to help your lane very often because there's other objectives and things to focus on the other side of the map until later in the game. So if you're the kind of person who can rely on themselves to stay alive, rely on yourself to get last hits and farm up, and rely on yourself to kill the enemy when the opportunity comes, this might be the role for you. This is a role that's typically played by melee characters. However, those who are a little more advanced can move up to playing some ranged characters, some carries, or some mid laners or casters. However, I don't suggest this if you're just starting out in the game. I would suggest you pick a balanced character between damage and defense. Right now, characters like Sevarog and characters like Steel are really good in the offlane role because they can take a lot of damage and they can also deal a fair amount. They also have kits that help them get in and out of bad or good situations and help them even to stun or root enemies. So I do suggest playing either Sevarog or Steel if you're just starting out. Now, like I was saying earlier, the early to mid stage of the game, you really need to focus on farming up, getting a handful of kills, and staying alive just in case the enemy comes to gank you. If you're able to farm up and do these things, later in the game, mid to late game, you will be an absolute bruiser for your team, which is very essential. Mid-late game is when you will be able to leave your lane and go and help other lanes a lot more, because early on, it's really easy for the enemy to push your lane. And if you're not in your lane early on, it's hard for you to get back there because your lane is on one side of the map. It's not the middle, and it's not the duo lane. For example, the middle, it's easy to get there from anywhere. And the duo lane has two people that can cover that lane. So the off lane can be easily ganked, it can be easily taken or pushed by the enemy, but you can do the same to them. So it is definitely a lane that needs a lot of focus and a lot of attention because it's really easy to suddenly have lost your tower. Now, the offlane is a really fun lane. Early mid game, it can be a little bit dry. However, like I said, mid-late game, it is a lot of fun. Being able to push up your minions at the right opportunity so that you can go gank another lane or go take an objective is extremely fun. Also, having a jungler who's willing to help you a whole bunch with securing kills on the enemy solo laner is also a lot of fun. However, don't expect that to happen because typically a jungler is going to be focused on the duo or mid lane where there's a lot more easy objectives and easy kills earlier on in the game. So again, if you're the kind of guy or person who can focus, who can farm up really well and can come and go from your lane quickly, can push your lane or hold your lane when necessary, who is good at freezing your lane, and who also understands how to build a good balance between tanky and damage, this might be the role for you. All right, now I just want to look at a couple of quick things that you should be building and a couple more heroes that you might want to try. Some things that you really want to focus on building, like I said, are going to be tanky items. Ones that are going to help you later on in team fights when the other enemy members of their team have really become a lot stronger. You want to have a lot of defenses, both magical and physical, depending on the build of the enemy team or the makeup of the enemy team. You also want to make sure that you have a really strong balance between that physical and magical defense, but also having your own attack. Because yes, it's good to be tanky, and a really good tanky offlane is important. However, it's not always necessary. Sometimes it's better to have an offlaner who can do a lot of damage as well as take a lot of hits. So remember that when you're building. Now, a couple more heroes that you might want to try. Like I said, if you're first starting out, Sevarog and Steel are really great to start off with. They're pretty easy to play, and they can be really big assets to the team, especially mid-late game. If you're feeling a little more advanced, characters like Rampage are a lot of fun because he's got a fairly good kit. He's got an escape. He's also got, or an engage if you want to see it that way. And he's got his rock and his stun. He's got a bunch of really good things that can help him be a really good offlaner. And if you're feeling a little more advanced and you're going to go for more of a attack build over a defensive build, I would definitely suggest someone like Feng Mao. Now, there are a lot of options, and you can really, like I said, play anyone, because people who are really advanced at the offlane role can sometimes play carries or even mid laners / casters. So as you get better, challenge yourself, try some different heroes, try some different builds. And if you're not quite sure still, even after this video, if offlane's right for you, go into game and try to get it. Because it is a really fun lane, and it's a really essential lane. All right, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this intro to the offlane role, and I hope I was able to give you guys an idea whether or not you want to give it a try. All right, I hope to see you guys in the battlefield. Peace.